you. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you.
We are so excited to have you today.
I'm excited to be here as well. Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
So I can see the topic is really, is going to be very interesting. A to Z of SPE student chapter report writing. So we all look forward to learning one or two from you today. Hello, Precious.
Yes, I'm here. Okay, do I start now?
Yeah, I think. Often, can she start now? Akpan.
Okay. I think she can start since
Yeah.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, of course, Precious is a petroleum engineering graduate, a Girl in STEM Leadership Award recipient. And of course, she's a first-class product from Nile University of Nigeria. Also, the immediate past president of this institution, an avid volunteer of the Society of Petroleum Engineers Abuja section. Please, with a resounding round of applause, a virtual applause, welcome your speaker for today, who I believe will do justice on the topic A to Z of SPE student chapter report writing. Welcome, Precious. The stage is yours.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for coming. Thanks everyone that can make it to be here. All right, so I'll just quickly share my screen so that we can start. Okay. Please confirm you can see my screen.
Yeah, we see it.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I'm going to make this presentation as elaborate as I can, and I want as many student chapter executives that I get to pay up attention and learn what they can, and I want to give enough time for questions as well at the end of it. Okay, so as Ofofonana said, my name is Precious Okun, and I'll be taking you through this topic on the A to Z of SPE student chapter report writing. Okay, so let's get to it. So this is the outline I'll take you through. All right, so about me, why should you listen to me on this topic? Right? Beyond any other thing, like that Apan has already said, we're able to grow our chapter by 32% in membership and organize lots of phenomenal events. But what really mattered was us being able to report those events properly so that people could actually feel what we did, right? Because the people that will judge this chapter report, they don't know you personally. So they can only see the work that you have presented. And if you don't present it well enough, then you would not be considered. So we won the Student Chapter Excellence Award in 2022, and this is an award that is given to the top 20% of student chapters around the world. Okay, so I think that's good enough reason for you to listen to me on this topic. Okay, so let's go straight to it. What are the sections of the Student Chapter Report? Student Chapter Report has 12 sections. And through the course of this, I'm going to show you how to approach writing the student chapter report and the different aspects that really matter the most. Of course, every part matters, but the parts that need a lot of your input, right? So we have the student chapter details and contacts and the university program details. So for these two parts, which are the first two parts of the report, they are actually automatically loaded. Oh, I wanted to start my video for this. Sorry about that. Please confirm you can see me. Please confirm you can see me so you can see me gesticulating and just to help with you following or anything.
Yes.
All right. Okay, awesome. All right, fine. So yeah, so the SPE student chapter details and contact and the university program details, these two, they come together, they are automatically loaded into the chapter report, right? So you don't actually fill those details by yourself, especially the first part. So just contact details. I'll show you a case study, which was our report from last year, just to help you have more insight, and I would really love to take your questions afterwards. Okay, so the university program details, this just talks about what your chapter is about, like what your university is about, what is the major course that fills your SPE student chapter, and what has the population been like in that particular department. Then the executive summary. The executive summary is one of the most important parts of your entire report. It's a general summary of everything that you've done, but it has to be written in a very persuasive manner, because this is the first thing that would be seen and judged and marked. This is the first thing that would determine whether or not they're going to read the rest of your report. So you have to give it your best. You have to write your best when you are writing the executive summary, right? And every other part of it. So we're going to look at each part of this. So let's look at the executive summary. Let's look at the executive summary. So the executive summary comes in this form, and this part is going to be a bit interactive. I'd love to hear from you. So the executive summary is, this is the instruction that comes with it, right? In 200 words or less, succinctly summarize how your activities over the past year impacted your members. Think of this like a paper abstract or cover letter. And then these parts that I put in red, I put them for a reason. So, because it's very important that you note this. This is crucial in determining award-winning student chapters, as judges review only this field during the first round of review. They review only this field. So even if every other thing in your report is good, and this part is your sloppiest work, then they're going to see no other reason to read your report, because all those other nice things you might have written at the end, they would not have seen them because you would have already fallen off in the first screening exercise, right? So we're going to look at two samples of an executive summary, and then you're going to, I would love your feedback at this point. So let's look at this sample one together. Our activities was most focused on empowering and educating our student members on the oil and gas industry. We also ensured that we were able to bridge the gap between the classroom and the industry. One of the most important activities carried out was a field trip to the Nigerian Petroleum Development Company, a subsidiary of Nigerian National Petroleum Company. It was a 2-day field trip where we had the opportunity to visit a flow station and drilling rig to see all the theoretical knowledge and all and all. So what do you think is wrong with this? What do you think is wrong with this executive summary? What problem have you observed in this summary? You can raise your hand, or you can put something in the chat for me to see and acknowledge. So what do you think is wrong with this first sample of an executive summary? I would really love your responses so I can okay. Is anything wrong with this? Well, I mean, if you things are wrong, okay. So someone says the grammar, Aisha says the grammar, then Miracle says a few grammatical errors. Okay, nice. Okay, great. So that's one major thing. The grammatical errors. It's a red flag. It's a red flag that there are grammatical errors in something that's as critical as this. Let me see. I think a few mechanical inaccuracies. Okay. All right. Right. Fine. But then aside to that, let's see. When you read this, did it push you to want to read more about what this person did? Like, genuinely speaking, like just looking at it, did it push you to want to see the rest of the activities that they did or that they carried out during their time? Did they do that to you? Okay, I feel like they focus too much on one activity, right? So that one activity is as though that's all they have to offer. So they've already spoken about it, right? Exactly. All right. So let's look at another sample, and then you see, and then we'll compare, and then let's see. Okay, let me see. It wasn't all encompassing for all the SPE features. Okay, fine. Okay. So let's look at this sample. So SPE Now University chapter has come a long way from being a chapter that barely functioned 2 years ago to one that delivers programs aligned to SPE's core values and has experienced growth in membership and participation in activities organized by her sponsoring section, the Nigerian Council, and SPE International. This year, we had 2 major goals in mind: to get our membership growth out of the negatives and to increase the reach and participation of SPE on campus. To achieve this, we organized events and still have lots more already in the works as at the time of submitting this report that were in line with SPE's mission, yet appealing to students from other departments. We also engaged in a lot of collaborations with other associations within the university. Indeed, we achieved and even exceeded our set goals. As at December 2021, we had already recorded a 26% increase in our growth rate, moving from -17% to 9%. And right now, it is at 30.43%. Our membership retention rate also increased by about 10% in that period and is currently at 90.12%. 15.12% in excess of our target set by SPE. So let me hear what you have to say about this one. Okay, so Aisha says, this one is much better. Sample 1 was an ISO. Samuel says, oh, wow, I see the big difference now. Much more better. Okay, great. Thank you. So you see this, it's persuasive, it tells a story, and there is use of numbers. There is use of numbers. It's more encompassing. There are numbers that show your actual success, right? And it tells a story. What most people don't realize is that people really enjoy stories. I mean, except you're outrightly telling lies, right? But people really enjoy stories. And if you tell a good story, people just want to listen to you or want to follow with what you're saying because they are feeling the story that you're telling, right? So, okay, I see something. I feel like this one mentioned the goals and brought data to back up how those goals were achieved. Awesome. Yes. That's what I want to point out to you. So the executive summary is a very beautiful app, and it should be written last. Notice it's a summary, and the instruction says, think of it like an abstract. If you've written a technical paper and you've written an abstract, or you've written your final year project or something of that sort, when you're writing your abstract, you are summarizing every part of that entire project, that entire paper, because you're trying to show what you did, right? And help people just have an overview of your entire work. But then the previous ones just made them know that they went to NMPC, right? Okay, and notice something, the name of the chapter is even mentioned. Now, why am I talking about this? Because it helps you to keep you in their memory. I'm not saying you should throw your name everywhere, but just because at this point it's a blind reading, right? They just cut off the parts of the report and just look at the summary. It's a blind reading. So you have to come correct and put your best foot forward at this point. So let's just take a few ways on how to approach writing the summary. Okay. Awesome. Okay, I see Samuel says goals and accomplishment backed up with statistical data make it interesting to read. Yeah. Okay, so how do we approach the executive summary? First, I've basically said all of these things. Make sure you write this section last. Give a good preamble. and tell your story, give them a background, because you actually have a limited amount of words to do this. You just have 200 words. Just have 200 words. So you need to ensure that you're putting the most important information out. You're putting the most important information out there. Talk about your goals, talk about how you achieved them, and then summarize your impact numerically. And that's why it's important to have data. It's important to have data. Thankfully, SPE actually already provides that for you, right? With your membership dashboard. With the membership dashboard, you have access to lots of summary statistics about your chapter. So that helps you to know how much your chapter is growing. I remember during our time, I think we looked at that membership dashboard like every day. Executives from that time that are here, I'm sure they're just laughing and remembering all that we went through. Okay, so I want to show you a typical report before I come back to tell you, give you more practical steps on how to approach writing the report in general. So I'll just stop sharing and share another screen, which is the report. Okay. Okay, please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
All right, awesome. Okay, so I told you the first part, student chapter details and contacts. These are preloaded in the report because it's like a form. So this part of the information is preloaded into the report. So you don't need to, let me make this full screen so it's bigger, right? So it comes preloaded. So you're not the one that fills in these details at this point. These details, student chapter name, all of these things, they come in with the reports, right? And all of these details, the details, the membership details, the overall retention, because you know the way the student chapter report works is you're submitting April 1st, 2023. So you're writing from April 2nd, 2022 till March 31st, 2023. So you're reporting the events from the previous year, right? So that's why this is a 2022 report, but the activities are from 2021 till March 2022. Okay, so like I said, these parts are preloaded, they come preloaded in the form, and you don't do all of that. Except maybe there's a change that happened in the middle of the year that has not been updated on the SPE database. But I mean, you shouldn't let that happen as a chapter executive. Ideally, you should ensure that all of your statistics are right, they're up to date on the database so that whenever they're loading things about your chapter, they're actually accurate. Okay. All right, then the university program details, part of this already comes preloaded as well. Part of it already comes preloaded as well, but then there are a few things you add by yourself, like the green length, and then the enrollment trend. So if you don't know that data by yourself, you can always ask your faculty advisor or your head of department, but endeavor to do these reports in tandem with your faculty advisor, because he or she will provide a lot of insight on how best to go about approaching certain things. Okay, so we've spoken about the executive summary. And now another thing that comes up is, like in that same category, the challenges you have as a chapter, and then your needs. So after the COVID-19, SPE actually put out this was a new question, these are relatively new questions, right? What guidance and best practices would you like to see from SPE to better operate your student chapter? So I mean, you can tell them, if you've observed anything, you can tell them. If you've not observed anything, I don't think these are things that actually affect your marks. You're just telling your challenges, aren't you? Right? So I don't think that should be something that should affect your marks. But however, still write it well, still give it good effort, right? please endeavor to word your sentences right. I know it's not an English class, but you might as well just write properly. Your grammar can be well, just do everything rightly, right? Okay, so I'm going to come back to the report, but let me give you the other tips I have, and then we'll come back to the remaining sections of the report because they would help you to see when you're actually looking at the report. So I'll stop sharing again so that you can see, so that we can talk about that. Okay, so please confirm you can see my slideshow. Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay, please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
All right, awesome. So let's go. Now, approaching the report. When it comes to approaching the report, there are lots of things that come to play. But I summarize them in these 4 steps. And I think if you work with them, you should achieve what you want. Prepare, write convincingly, review, and submit your report. Now let's talk about preparation. You need to understand that writing this report actually starts from the previous year. You need to plan ahead. You need to prepare adequately to write this report. Now, you know that this is something that happens every year, that every April 1st, as a student chapter, you are going to send in a report to SPE International. And you know that you're going to report from April 2nd, 2020, whatever year you're in at that point, till March 31st of the next year. So you need to prepare. You need to plan events that would fall around the different categories that are mentioned. So earlier, I showed you the sections of the report, the financial details, the technical activities, and we're going to distinguish between technical activities, professional activities, because some people don't distinguish rightly between those 2 events. And I mean, if you report a professional event under a technical event, you may just be making an honest mistake, but to someone else, they can see you as being mischievous or crafty, in the sense that it's like, you want us to see that you did something, but it's not what we need you to report at this place. Do you understand? So ensure you understand what you're reporting per section. Okay, so let me go back to that. So you need to prepare. Look at the previous report. And this is why it's important in handing over, that whoever you're handing over to, or if you're the present executive, whoever handed over to you should hand over the reports that they worked with in their time or that they submitted in their time, so that you can have a good idea of what they did and how to go about it, and just see what the report expects of you, so that you can actually plan events in that line. You can plan your events based on the different categories, and you have something to report in every area of the report, right? And so look at the previous report. So this is still under preparation. I'm expanding on preparing to write the report. Look at previous reports, begin to plan events in line with that order. Then one other thing you could do, list out every event that you engaged in within the time frame, right? Because the time frame is important. List out every event you had within that time frame and divide those events into the different categories available. All these you're doing before you even start writing the report. You divide the events you have according to the different categories that are available, so that you know what you have to report in each area, right? Then you delegate sections of the report to different executives. Now, what do I mean? When you have separated it into technical, professional, community, and all of that, these are different sections. And it's a lot of work for one person to fill that report. I mean, the one I just showed you, that was a 28-page report. And each page has a lot of writing, lots of summaries and all of that. So delegate. That's why you have executives. That's why it's not just you, the president. I remember the first time I had to write the chapter report because I had 2 tenures. I ran for 2 years. So in my first year, I don't know, there was just a lot of delay with how we went about it. And then eventually, I think it was the night before or 2 nights before that I just wrote the entire report. And it was just really stressful. It definitely was not the best work. And then I got just a little input here and there from my faculty advisor, because he actually stayed with me to help me just finalize it in the night before the deadline. So of course, when you're strained and there's only one person that's doing it, it's definitely not going to be your best work. But in the next year, we improved on that and we delegated. Shout out to my 2022 executives, right? So we delegated. So someone took technical events, someone took professional events, someone took community and all of that. Of course, you have your treasurer or financial secretary or whatever name you choose to call him or her, and that person took the finances and all. So that division of labor, it makes the work easier, it makes it better for you to actually go about it, right? And then have properly kept financial records. This is targeted at whoever your financial secretary is. The person should have properly kept financial records, and the president should ensure that they actually follow through with checking on this, because if not, you will be stressed. We're going to look at the financial section of the report as we go on. If not, you'll be stressed. You're going to use all of your energy trying to find out, oh, where did this money come from? Oh, when did we spend that money? But if you have a properly kept report, maybe in an Excel document or a Word document, if you're not too familiar with using Excel, just keep records. Or even if you want to be archaic, you can use a piece of paper, not a piece of paper, maybe a book. So it's much better, right? Okay, now the next thing, write convincingly. Write convincingly. Tell a story, right? Tell a story. Let it show your emotions. Let it show how much you care about the thing that you're doing. Tell a story. Use numbers. Use numbers as much as possible. Use numbers as much as possible. Explain your impact. Show how much people benefited from these things that you put out. Let people know that, oh my goodness, I'm so happy I attended this event. Let it show in the way you communicate your summary of each event, right? Then review. So you've delegated, and then you review. So you have weekly review meetings. And this is something, ensure you don't fall into that last minute category. Don't fall into that last minute category. Have weekly review meetings, or even daily, or every 3 days, whatever works for your chapter. Have regular review meetings so that you'll be able to look at it and say, okay, this is how this works. This is what I've done so far, and everyone can give their input on something, and then it gives you an avenue to benchmark and exceed, right? So that's something you can apply. After you review it by yourselves, ensure that your faculty advisor gets to see it. Ensure that your faculty advisor gets to see it, because he has more experience in doing this. So when he looks at it, he will definitely give you better counsel than you could have probably come up with in some areas, right? So endeavor to have your faculty advisor give a second look. And another thing about that is, just because you're the one that wrote it, it's easier to actually have oversight, because has it ever happened to you where you've actually written something wrong, but you know what is in your head. So every time you read it, you keep seeing that right thing that was in your head, but you actually wrote it wrongly. So until someone else that has a fresh set of eyes sees it and points it out, you probably wouldn't observe it. So that's why having another set of eyes, like a faculty advisor, is very important. Finally, submit your reports. In the end, it won't matter It won't matter how beautiful a story you write if you don't hand in your report, if you don't submit it. Don't wait till the last minute. I know you're familiar with it, with your assignments and your projects and everything in uni, but don't do it with this, because once the portal is closed, it's closed, right? So please try to submit in time. So now, saying all that, let's go back to the report so that you can have a look at what it looks, so you can have a good look at it. Okay. All right. So, okay, so let's look at finances. Finances. So all of the details for the finances are written in US dollars. So use your conversion rates and convert them to dollars. Having this template, having a previous report from your chapter, you can just see how you can break your expenses to fit into these different categories. And all, if you give scholarships, you record the amount and all of that. Now, technical activities. I want to talk a lot about technical and professional activities so that you don't report the wrong thing in the wrong place. Technical activities, let me watch my time. Oh my goodness. Okay. So technical activities, these are events that aim to enhance the technical competence of your members, right? Field trips, just things that are about the whole technical presentations, trainings, just knowledge sharing places, field trips that have to do with the industry, right? Primarily. So despite the number of technical events that you organize, you only have room to talk about 4, like report 4 of them. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this is even 3. Okay, yeah, it's 4, but we didn't have a 4th one to report, so we only put 3. But yeah, so you only have room to report 4. So you have to ensure that you have 4 great events that you want to report, and you report them well. So look at this. You look for the best one. I want to give you a bit of a structure. I'm going to show you that after I just take you through this, a bit of a structure to how you approach writing your summary of each part. I mean, of course, they kind of all follow the same template, because the essence of it is for you to show your the event you had, people in attendance, when it was organized, the summary of the event, and the impact of the event, how it relates to SPE's mission. You know, when you're able to tell that, just form it into a nice story, people would make sense of what you're saying and actually appreciate the work that you did. Right. Then professional activities. Professional activities, they look more to improve your students in the professional world, with networking, CV writing, workshops, excuse me, presentations, ALPs, right? Soft skills. So this is kind of more on the non-technical aspect of things. They want to see how you're able to improve your members on a non-technical aspect. So you need to, so you see that there's already a variety of events that are available for you to organize. So you need to, excuse me, you need to be able to rightly do them, rightly report them. So for us, we had our SPE week. In that time, we had 2 ALPs. We had 2 ALPs during that time, so we reported both of them. And we had another ALP another time, and then a training on financial skills. So we reported these events. So you can see the variety in the events. Okay, I mean, in this place, there's not much of a variety, but yeah, right? I hope you're following. I'm just trying to wrap up so that I can take questions, because I know that these types of things usually have questions. Now, community activities. Community activities, they're actually broken into different categories. You have the energy for me. You have the energy for me. You have the SPE cares. You have the SPE cares. And then you have presentations within the community. So these are three different aspects of community activities. So SPE cares, that's where all your outreaches, donations, fundraising, all those things, that's where they all volunteering with other non-profit organizations come to play. So you talk about that under SPE cares. Then Energy for Me is an instituted thing by SPE International. So you just do you if you've carried out Energy for Me events, you record all of them and report all of them so that you can in your report, right? So we had a few Energy for Me events, but for the community events, you don't actually have room to report a lot. You only have like room to report 2. So look for your best 2 and report them. Maybe in the Nigerian context, you can talk more, but what matters is you just put according to the space that's provided for you. Don't try to mix 2 events together. There's no point of doing that. There's no point of doing that. Right now, operations just it has to do with how you run your student chapter, what's your calendar like, and all of that. And then talks about, they also see things about the constitution. I'll show you that. And then talks about those that support your chapter, the your faculty advisor, your sponsoring section. Just talk about them. It's just some information on the side. And then now the constitution or the bylaws, these are automatically loaded, so you don't really change anything here. Yeah, you don't change anything here. These are bylaws automatically loaded in the report. And then it talks about how you relate with other people and your chapter's goals. So if you're a student chapter that does not have goals and you're just running, you're just organizing events, there's no goal, there's no plan, then, I mean, you don't have what to report here because you do not have a goal. You just wanted to organize events, right? So you should have a goal or goals, measurable goals, and talk about them extensively and all of that. So these are just other parts. Communications. I mean, every executive board has a communications and outreach chairperson. So that person should handle this section. Should handle this section. You put your social media accounts, how you communicate with your members, and all. And then there's the membership aspect of things. Membership, you have a membership chairperson, so your membership chair should handle this as well. Talk about membership drives, how you, the drives you organize to get more members and all of that. So it's you just report your best events in that regard. How do you grow your membership? And then photos and videos. This is another interesting part of things. You have the opportunity to upload a video, to upload photos, right? So you can do a video, but you cannot do a collage photo. They explicitly said that no collage, no don't do photo collages. No, they just want individual photos, single photos. See here, no collages, only single photos. So don't try to fit too many things. You can do a video, you can do photos, but don't do photo collages. Okay. And then after that, the primary collaborator, who is the president, would submit the report. So I'll just stop this and go back to the final part of my slides so that we can wrap up and I can take your questions. Okay. So Now, extra tips. I think I've already said these in passing. Have a compilation of events when they happen. When you, this is still part of preparation. When the event is had, at that point it's fresh in your memory. You can write properly on it. So write well about the event. Let it talk about the attendances that were there when you had it. Let the flyer be there. Give a good summary of the event and the impact of that event and how that event relates to SPE's mission. Put lots of photos. Because in the end, having all this documentation would help you when you're writing the report. So you don't have to start recalling things from scratch because you already have them documented. Write in simple English. Don't be unnecessarily verbose. I see people who think that it is by speaking with big English that they will pick them. It doesn't have to be like that. You can write in plain English. So people reviewing these things are not even like their first language is not English. So they are going through a lot, having to open the dictionary for every sentence that you write. Just write like a normal person. Finally, don't lie on your reports. I plead with you because they verify these statistics. So don't lie. Don't lie on your reports. So I think that brings me to the end of my presentation. So thank you very much for listening, and I wish you all the best practicing. All right, so thank you. That's that from me. That's I don't know, Aisha. Maybe I'll throw it over to you to take it over from there.
Thank you very much, Precious.
Thank you.
Well done. So any questions? Just raise your hand. In the chat box so that Precious will attend to them.
I see a hand raised.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Precious, for the presentation. This was awesome. And thank you for actually sharing, practical examples from your end. That's brave of you. I love that. So the thing is, I joined the call quite late, and my network was really bad. So I did not really get what you talked about on the executive summary. I know you might not be able to talk about it at length, but maybe just gloss over it and just give a summary of what you talked about. I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. What I said concerning the executive summary can be summarized with this. Just write this section last. Tell a good story. Tell a good story. Let there be a nice preamble. Let there be that build up. Apply the technique of storytelling when you're writing your summary. Let there be that beginning, middle, end, that climax and all. Show your goals, right? Talk about your goals and how you achieve them and summarize your impact numerically. Numbers are very powerful in communicating impact. So endeavor to use numbers as much as possible. This was a case study. I wouldn't share the slides with you or the report, but I mean, this is the best I can do. So yes, thank you. I hope that helps, Terry Topper. Hello?
Thank you, Precious.
All right, thank you.
So we have another one. I think there's a question too from Ogundele, right? Ogundele Samuel. Mr. Ogundele Samuel.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
I can.
Oh,
Samuel, please go on.
Okay. It's a privilege being here this evening, and I want to use this medium to say a very big thank you to you, Precious, for this eye-opening session. So my question is just simple and straightforward, as I can say. From all these, I think these sections of the report that we have 12, that you summarized to 12, I wanted to believe that these sections, like the template is already there on the website to submit the reports, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because you were referring to like getting the previous report from the other from the previous
Okay.
previous set. Yeah. So I was thinking that maybe this is just
You write
basically
it from
for
scratch?
you. Okay.
Oh, no.
All right. Thank you.
All right, let me just talk a bit on that. The writing the report, it's like filling a form, like Google Forms. So all those questions, they are there. Even those descriptions, like those things, how technical, what makes up a technical event, what makes up all those things are there in writing the form, in filling that form. So you're not writing those things from scratch. The reason I said you should try to look at a previous report is so that you can plan your events ahead. Obviously, this is March 20th. So, I mean, you may not be organizing events at this point, but if this were maybe the beginning of last year, you would be at an advantaged position to begin to prepare events that will be in line with the report. So that's what I was trying to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Precious. Mr. Abel. Okay, yeah.
Okay, please, Asha. Okay, let me just respond to this one. It's pretty simple. Yes, you can submit the report anytime before April 1st, but you can at least wait till 30th so that you're sure you've encompassed everything. All right, yes. Abel.
Okay, thank you so much for this session. My question is for the membership page. It was stated, the question was, does the student chapter have member programs and strategies to report? So in this case now, they said, okay, the answer is yes, then they said, describe your best member program. If, for instance, okay, among the things they mentioned, they said this might include programming such as alumni awards, growth strategies, and the rest. So let's say you want to take new member welcome. Like, what events do you think goes in line with this new member welcome? Is it just maybe making a post on social media, or maybe organizing a physical event to welcome the members? Then, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. I mean, of course, they speak more about events rather than just having a flyer, right? Of course, you can include the fact that you put out a new member welcome flyer when you're talking about your strategies, but you need to put the most profound one, the one that had the most impact in your opinion. So for us at that time, we had a picnic, and it was a really great event because obviously people like food. So people from different areas just came. And after we spoke to them about SPE, lots of them actually joined society and found it interesting. So you can do something like that and just explain your best membership drive and how it worked for you, because they want to see what you did, right? What the membership growth strategy was and how it actually impacted. So I think by that we were able to increase our membership by maybe, I think that day alone we were able to increase by like 10 or 15%. So this is where intentionality in keeping records comes to play. So that's I hope that helps.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
You're welcome. I see a hand raised. Is that not able? Is it not able?
I think it's able.
All right.
We have no more hands. Okay. Yeah, okay. Emmanuel just clapped. So that was very informative. Thank you very much, Precious, for the fun lecture. I actually had fun personally, you know.
Thank you.
That was really, really fun. My gratitude goes to everyone that joined the webinar. So I look forward to like having more interactive sessions, more fun lectures, and simple topics that everyone can benefit from and relate with. So So I think we'll like just take a picture, like a quick photograph. So we should all enable our cameras. Akpan, are you going to? Hello, Akpan.
Pardon?
It's time for the picture, right?
Yes. Okay. So kindly turn on your cameras.